So good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is the Oasis of the Real broadcast. This is a broadcast, and I'm your host and conduit, the Matrix Man. The purpose and transmission of this broadcast is to bring newfound light and understanding to the most critical issues that new and developing traders will face, and that is of psychology and risk management. In my over 1 year trading experience thus far, the issue of psychology and risk management has been at the forefront of my development. I was not allowed to proceed before I fully grasped and understood the very nature and core essence of my mind and psyche when it comes to trading. Revelations would also reveal just how intertwined this was with risk management. As such, it is my goal and intention here today via this broadcast to speak openly about the issues that any serious trader will face, to share my personal experiences with you, and have two of fellow traders speak openly about their experiences so we can attempt to fill the megalithic absence of truth surrounding this matter. By doing this, the intention is to remind you of your own personal power by demystifying the same recurring societal psychological programs implemented in you by an illusory enemy that ultimately you created for your own growth. So, with that said, let's get into it. Let's get into the dialogue. Today, we have our very first guest on this maiden voyage. I now invite you to tell the public your name if you so choose, or an alias to reference you by.
Hi, you could just call me Andreas. That's my name,
Andre. Okay,
Andreas. Yeah.
Andres. All right, so can you please tell us, like, what was the catalyst that got you into trading? Like, can you have us relive that moment, that very spark that you said that, hey, I would be really interested in doing this for a living, that I would be really interested in making this my means of income. The reason I'm
Yeah.
asking this, yes,
Yeah.
let's go ahead.
There's a funny story actually. My wife, she's from Ukraine.
Yeah.
She went to visit her family, and in one of the rooms there was a computer. This is like 7 or 8 years ago now. And like on the computer, on the screen, there was like just the charts. And like she asked her auntie, what's this? And she explained to her like, this is MT4. This is trading candles and everything. When she came back home, she showed me. I was a bit skeptical because I didn't know anything about trading. It looked a bit like not a scam, but I don't know, wasn't real, wasn't a real thing. But then we started researching a bit, uh, like with little research. We put $100 in an account. I remember because it was our first trade. Like we traded like 0.20 cents, I think,
Yeah.
and we made $25 just like that. And we
Wow.
were like, uh-huh. Obviously no, it was just like luck. Obviously,
Yeah.
there was no analysis, no nothing.
Yeah.
But like that was the spark. Like, wow, you can really make money from this.
Yeah.
It was a
And
long journey.
yeah. And this is 7 or 8 years ago, you said.
Yeah.
And since then, how has the journey been? Like, can you tell me the ups and downs, or like what it been like for you now? Have you regretted?
Uh,
Yeah, continue.
no, I can't say I regret anything because everything was like a learning curve.
Okay.
Uh, but yeah, I wasted so many years because obviously to find the right stuff, especially back then when there was no like academies or all these, some information, let's say real information. It was all retail, like indicators, like wasting so much time trying to perfect like the indicator to so it can show you to buy or sell.
Yeah,
That was a big waste of time, I think.
yeah.
That's the only thing I
So
regret.
okay, the indicators, but
Yeah.
like I wouldn't say for you to regret it because this is an important part of your journey. Now, when you just sat down and you explained it to me, you explained it to the audience,
Yeah.
we all we all knew that feeling. We all knew that moment of wow. When you made the $25 out of the €100, you're like,
Hmm.
damn, we can make money from this. And that right there is what I wanted to focus on as we continue. That initial spark, that initial flare that brought you and your wife, and if you are your family, to this realization that hey,
Hmm.
there is something outside of the 9 to 5 job, there is something outside of the 9 to 5 hustle that you can make money from. And whatever the journey has been now, that's the thing that has been pulling you. And this is the thing that we will focus on as we dive deeper. All right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, next question is, what are some of the adversities that you have faced along your journeys from the 7 years till now?
Oh, I think there's been loads.
Uh, speak of the first one that comes to your mind because usually that's the main one. That's usually the main.
Uh, the main adversity I think is the doubt.
Doubt. Yes.
Just like you wait, or when you think you found something, you're consistent for a bit.
Yeah.
You think, oh, I found it, and then it starts to go wrong, and then you start doubting yourself, like, maybe this isn't for me, and I'm doing it wrong. That's
yeah, continue. Sorry for interrupting.
I think that's the most difficult thing for me personally, because going back to the indicators, everything's like you work so hard to get to a level, and then you think you've made it, and then it just goes downhill. Say you like blow another account, and then
And
you just want to give up. But I've always got that thing in my head, like you can't give up.
exactly. So like we've all been there. Any serious trader who is serious about making this for their living and they don't give up. They have all been down that road. I personally have blown over 20 accounts, like blown serious money. I've decided to quit school, like to quit trying to get a job, and I've decided that this has to be my way out.
Yeah,
And when you experience that heart crushing pain, because as a man and you're a husband also,
yeah,
the main premise for you is to provide. I don't know if you have kids or you plan to have kids, but the main premise for you is that you need to provide for your family and your wife. So you want to be able to bring home something to the table, and you want to be able to know that you can do this, especially when there is probably not a huge support system for you. So this right there, this doubt that crept in when you were trying and messing around with the indicators and you thought you got it, that self, that past Andreas, right, that
yeah,
past you have to look at him now and see where, because let me ask you a question. Are you better off now than you were then?
yeah,
If you look,
definitely.
yes. And this is why they say trading, and this is why 90% of people will forever fail with trading. And You and I and everyone else in the audience who are serious about it and will not give up will be the 10% or the 1% that succeed. You want to know why?
Yeah.
The why is because you are able to look at your journey and see where you have grown. You asked me a question before, and I can't go into it too deep because of my NDA with who my mentor is. But
Yeah.
I will go ahead and repeat it to the best I can here so that we can dive deep into it. And the question ties in to what you have brought forward now in terms of basically how do you know when to buy or sell? And how do you know when you can trust that there's a more chance of success? This is
Yeah.
the essence of the question that you asked. Am I right?
Yeah. Yeah. Correct.
All right. So the reason why you have this question is because of, like you said yourself, your own doubt. Now, as humans, we always tend to remember the things in life that hurt us more. It's like our mind trying to prevent us from reliving the same trauma. And allow me to talk for a while and chip in whenever you want. Remember
Okay.
that this is about assisting you to remember your own strength, your own power, your own divinity as a creator, because that's what this expression of life all is. So within this question now that you pose, you are struggling with your own self-trust based off of my understanding. And the reason why I can say this is because I've been through it myself. I've been through such lows, such low lows. Like I've been one day before passing an FTMO challenge, just one day. And on the same day, I didn't have to take a trade and I blew the account. Imagine that. Imagine that. I've been in a position where I've turned 50 euros to 2,000 euros, and then I blew it all on the same day. So this whole aspect of trading psychology and the psyche of the mind has been a huge hurdle for me. And now that I have reached a level where I am consistently profitable, it is my goal and aim now to assist others. So you first, should you so choose, have to understand that in those moments, this is how I got through it, and this is how you can get through it also. And this will lead you to your own understanding to your question that you ask, and
Yeah.
we will go into it. But you must first choose to understand that those doubts that you have are just a thought, and these thoughts are representations of your past experiences. Now, let me give you this analogy. I have a small child at home, and he learned how to walk at 9 months, and then he's also learning how to run. There was this one time that he climbed up on the sofa and he almost fell, but I caught him midway the fall, and he's scared as hell after. Now he's always weary of whenever he goes close to the sofa. If that's one example. If you take an animal like a cat or a dog, and let's say some awful person is abusing them or they're beating the living shit out of them, pardon my language, they're beating the living hell out of the animal, right? That animal would go and hide for at least a day or two and process that whole trauma that it went through. We as humans, we as individuals within this illusionary matrix life, we aren't taught how to deal with the emotional and psychological traumas that we experience. Now, if you can think back when you first experienced those huge downfalls, when you were messing with the indicators, and like you said in the opening dialogue that we had, that you felt like you got it, you felt like you understood, you felt like you're getting somewhere. And that first spark, that that first thought that you and the wife had 7 to 8 years ago, that hey, we can make money doing this, that all seemed like it was going away. That all seemed like it was being challenged, ain't it?
Mm.
And and that's the doubt that's continuing to manifest itself. Now, the human mind doesn't like uncomfort. The human mind doesn't like to feel scared. So, not knowing to you, your subconscious mind is the one reminding you of these doubts all the time. Let's dive deep. You pose a specific question to me, so let the audience know. I'm pretty sure that you're familiar with my mentor's work, right?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, so I'm sure you have studied his stuff out there on YouTube. And for those that don't know, we're talking about the one and only ICT, Michael J. Odyssey, right? He literally has the best knowledge out there for forex trading. Any trading, hands down, is the best. And Andreas here is clearly exposed to it. And he was asking me a question that how can he determine bias? And based off of how he posed the question, I know that he knows how to determine bias. But because of the doubts that he has had, because of the adversities he has had to face, this, in my opinion, is the thing that's holding him back. Because the mind doesn't like to get hurt. Let me repeat that again. Your mind, and for those listening, if you have been through hurt and separation during this trading game, your mind is your adversity. Your mind is your enemy. Because within its own thinking, it's thinking that it's trying to protect you from reliving the same pain. Have you ever been trying to put in a password that you know it's your password, but for some reason it's just not going in? And you
Yeah,
put exactly right, and maybe it's just at the very important moment when you need to do something right away, and there is some type of stress to it or some type of urgency, and you're trying to get the password and you're trying to get the password in, and you're like, bloody hell, I know this password, why is it not going in? And then you end up and you turn into a tailspin. Or for example, you walk down the road or you're doing something, and then this thought just come to you and you remember a awful moment, and then maybe you self-destruct or you do something that would lead to another bad decision. This is the mind reliving and exposing past traumas. You have to first be fully aware of this, and to be fully aware of it, you have to relive it. You have to see those moments that you have been through and shed light on them. Now, not a lot of people will do this, and not a lot of people have the capacity to. That's why most people will fail at trading and will never make it. My sensei has the best stuff out there, but yet still 90% of traders here still fail using it. Why do you think this is?
exactly. It's the mindset, I think.
It's the mindset. So when now that we can highlight and identify this, the question is, how do we go deeper? How do we understand it better? Because let's look at the question again. Things to help you know where to buy and sell, more chances of success. So let's analyze.
Yeah,
If you're looking for things to let you know, you first have to identify things that you would trust. Now, you have to decide whether or not you will after this and going forward, whether or not you will learn to trust yourself, and we will get to how to learn to trust yourself, or whether or not you will continue to doubt yourself, because both of them are a thought. And the reason why I asked you, and I asked you to relive that moment of when you first got into trading, is so that you can hold on to that spark that you and your wife created. You can hold on to that energy that, hey, I can make money with this. So you know you 100% you can make money with this. So that in of itself should blow away any doubt. Remember, the human mind always chooses to remember things that is scarier to protect you, and things that feel good is always pushed aside. It's a coping mechanism to survive within this reality construct. Animals have it, and whether or not you believe oh the theory of evolution is or whatever, I personally don't subscribe to it. But human beings have it. Can you imagine growing up as a child and not knowing that a stoplight means red, and you walk out in the road and bam, you're dead? We are genetically and societally let me repeat. Society programs us to identify fear. Society programs us to know what is scary. You're walking
Yeah.
down the road and you see two guys. One is on the phone smiling and having a polite conversation with someone. You don't know, but you're walking down the road and you see that coming past you.
Yeah.
You don't even take notice. But same time now you're walking down the road and you see someone, his face is angry. He's cursing Jesus, he's cursing, but he's dropping a lot of expletives and you can just sense his energy. Right there and right in that moment you're thinking, I should go on the other side of the road. I should ensure that I don't walk too close to this person, or your defenses are up. So the point here is that you have two parts ahead of you. You have the part of self-trust or self-doubt. Because to answer the question you pose, one of them will lead the way. And to fully grasp whichever one you choose, this is why risk management is important. Now, can you give me an understanding that you know of what risk management is?
Yes. Well, basically, yeah. It's like, say you can't have $100 account, say, and like risk 50% of your account on a trade. You know, you need to take into account like your stop loss, how much you're willing to lose, to your like risk reward. Obviously, your reward has to be bigger than your risk.
And why is risk management important? Like, I'm not asking you to give me your personal opinion. I'm just asking you to repeat what is said generally so that we can dive
Why
deeper
is
and
why is it
mystify.
important?
Yeah.
Well, for personal experience, it's important because you'll blow every single account if you don't have risk management.
Mm. So let's listen to what you just said, and I want you to understand. You will blow, you will blow every single
Yeah,
account if you don't have risk management.
yeah.
I want you to take that thought and switch it and say you will grow every single account when you have risk management. So we are changing the perspective of how we view risk management. Instead
yeah,
of something that saves us from bad, from the worst outcome, it's something that ensures the best possible outcome. Let me say this again. Risk management. And the reason why I asked it to you like that way is because I
yeah.
knew you'd say it, because it's what the jargon is. Risk management saves you from bad outcomes.
Hmm.
Risk management saves you from blowing the account. Now, risk management ensures that you make it in this business. Risk management ensures that you grow money. It's not about saving you from bad outcomes. It's about ensuring better outcomes. Can you understand what I just did?
Yeah, yeah. You
You
flipped it. You flipped the perspective.
exactly.
Yeah,
And when you learn how to, the reason why I flipped the perspective is because personally I went through the same thing. So within the trading community and within the trading spectrum, they do talk about risk management, but they keep talking about the same jargons. You only risk 1%, you only do this, you only do that.
yeah,
But no one really speaks about the mental and psychological hurdles that they all go through. And maybe it's hard to talk about because there isn't a medium or a platform to discuss it. But when I was coming up, and I'm still coming up, but when I was coming up, I wish there was someone to keep it real and be like, hey, you know that I knew that I shouldn't do this, but I still did it. So the point here is we're changing it whereby it's stopping a negative outcome in our mind and we are using it to where it creates a positive outcome. So why do I do this? So that we can reprogram our thoughts and reprogram our minds to accept it. And when we reprogram our thoughts and we reprogram our minds to accept it, knowing that it's ensuring a better outcome, when you take a learning lesson and not a loss, there are no losses in life. When you take a learning lesson, a learning curve, because that's what it is, you push forward and you grow more. That's what that's what it is. So for example, question,
yeah,
how do I know where to buy and sell? You know, this is the point here. How do I know where to buy and sell? You know by experiencing your own self trust over your self doubts. Let me repeat.
yeah,
You know when and where to buy and sell by experiencing your own self trust over your self doubts. Now, everyone will ask me, because the doubt will always come in. But Matrix man, what if the self trust that I use was wrong? That's where you have your safety net. That's where you have your lovely thing known as risk management. When you have the proper risk management down, it's not about being worried about blowing the account. It's about ensuring that once you learn and your self trust is validated, you can move on and continue to win. Let me explain. The markets are rigged. You're exposed to my mentor, so you know this.
yeah,
They tend to repeat specific things over specific times. You have to learn to trust what you see over doubting what you think is not there. Let me repeat. You have to learn to trust what you see over doubting what you think is not there. Once you are able to do this, you will begin to see that, hey, you actually knew And you will realize that you actually knew by submitting to the process of trusting yourself. Don't think of it in a way that, hey, I got it wrong, and this fuels your doubt. You should think of it in a way that, hey, I got this wrong, and it's fueling my self trust. Because when you get it wrong, you shouldn't be doing the same thing again. Do you understand?
Yeah, yeah, I totally understand.
So this is where another aspect will come in, known as journaling, but we'll save that part for the last. When you get it wrong, you should know and foster your self trust that you don't do that again. And you will keep a record of it somewhere. So when next time you go in and you got this right, and you know that you got this right, this is when you should be fueling your self trust even more. And that's when you start to analyze and know why you got it right. Eventually, through enough time and trial and error, you will be able to know why you got it right. And that alone will be your model. Let me explain. I've been doing signals for the past 2 months now, I think. We actually interacted on that premise.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
And I did 1 month free signals to try and let people know of my talent and my work. And it's going well. And do you want to know, there isn't even anything too special about what I do for me in terms of what I think about. I know that if I see a particular thing, I'm more likely to win than I am to fail. And if I do fail, I have my safety net. Like for me, I don't call it a stop loss. I call it my safe zone. Because again, it's the wording. You're stopping loss. I
yeah,
don't lose. What am I losing? I call it a safe zone, or I even call it, okay, not my day, or I switch it because it's all a mental thing. You have to be conscious about what you're telling your mind. So for the 1 month period, I got 7 wins and two loss, I think. And previous month I got 7 wins, one loss. Ultimately, internally, there were a few trades that could go either way, and I decided that I won't count them as a win or a loss. I'm just being fully transparent here. But the point here is that for those 2 months, I saw an equity growth personally of over 20%. And since the start of the year, my equity has been trending up consistently profitable every month. And I look at myself now and I look at the past me that was struggling a year ago to understand it. And you want to know what is the main takeaway?
yeah,
The main takeaway is that, hey, I now know myself. I now know what I would do to fuck it up and what I would do to mess it up. And most people aren't talking about this, but this is the real shit, bro. This is the real difference maker. This is the real, hey, honey, you remember that time that we were at your mom's place 7 years ago, and we went and we saw the thing in the ground, in the room, and that was trading, and I was skeptical, and we made the first 25 euros, and you made it in that moment. It doesn't matter that you didn't know what you did.
yeah,
Now is the time for you to know what you did and know that you know it and submit to it and do that one thing. Find what it is and do that one thing. And it will open up. You see, people make the mistake of falling into the social media trap when it comes to trading. You have those fools and thing, and I'm not here to do that. I'm not here to place a lot of energy on that. But people make the mistake of falling into that, and then people also make the mistake of being mesmerized by those that are either officially taught by my mentor or unofficially exposed to his concepts. And they can literally pull the wool over your eyes. There's a lot of good ones out there, but there's a lot of bad ones also. And they will literally pull the wool over your eyes and let you feel that they know something that you don't know. And this thing that they show to you that you don't know, that's the thing that your mind is trying to hold on to. That one new trick, that one new tool, that one specific thing that you need to grasp so that you can make it. When they themselves are not profitable, they are pretending.
Yeah, I've
And
definitely been through that.
exactly. So, my mentor said it best. Everything that he has on his YouTube channel can 100% make you a success in this game. You will have the biggest hurdle is overcoming yourself. And it's sad that a lot of people don't make room or space for this. But it is the key. It is the difference maker. So let's continue to break down your question. Once you begin to trust yourself over your doubts and you have that nice thing known and as your safety net to ensure that you continue to grow, you will start to remember or identify things that only you know, things that are only unique to you. No two trader are the same, and they will never be the same. So you have to learn what it is that you like. And I won't speak and touch on any of my mentors' concepts, yada yada yada. I I respect the NDA and I won't even speak on his free concepts also. But you are exposed to it. Whatever it is for you, whatever it is to you that you feel that you want to learn how to trust, because that's what it is. You want to learn how to trust a particular thing, but the thing has no value over you in terms of that you have to learn how to trust yourself and allow the thing to do its job. And then you have to learn to separate yourself from the outcome. And that's also where risk management comes in.
Right.
Yeah, are you back?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
back.
Sorry, viewers and audience, we had some technical issues just now. Obviously, someone doesn't want us to continue to explore this wonderful truth of empowering ourselves so that we can understand that we are in control ultimately, because that's where this conversation is going. This is what we're trying to do. We're trying to expose the lies and the programmings within words and within societal thinking and within life by exploring the choices that we make and the choices that are imposed on us. And we're also trying to bring to light how past outcomes may deter future realities if we are stuck within a specific thought pattern. So before the cut, we were with Andre saying that, oh, the word risk management is literally a catch 22, or literally meant to program your subconscious mind that there is something to fear. And while some may argue that I'm splitting hairs here, that it's not so important what the word means or whatever, I would argue otherwise. Because if if we can come to an understanding that there is nothing to fear and there is nothing to doubt, we will come to an understanding that it's 100% possible. Much like that night that Andre had when he made the $25 in his first experience in trading. And much like that, that's always what it's like for anyone that decided to go on this path. The realization of this truth that, hey, you, by doing something, can create money. You can create a freedom for yourself. But as soon as you realize that and you want to pursue it more, you realize that there is a lot of things that you have to go through. So we were exploring how Andreas can come to his own personal realization by himself that there is no need for more self-doubt. All there needs to be is more self-awareness. And that comes by understanding the game that we are playing, the game of trading. And that comes by understanding ourselves. And we understand ourselves by paying close attention to what words invoke when they are said. And we were saying that the word risk inherently invoke something for you to fear. And when you're placing your stop loss, it's also a situation where it's something for you to fear because it's the stopping of loss. But we will argue here that there is never a loss, only new opportunities. Let me repeat, there is never a loss, only new opportunities. So once you are willing and able to shift these perspective, risk management and stop loss, to whatever it might be for you within your own psyche, explore it yourself. What can you shift these two perspectives to? What can you rewrite in your mind? What can you re-identify it for yourself? You will go in and learn things to help you to know where to buy and sell by experience of knowing what will most likely happen by your growth achieved from whatever you want to call these two words, stop loss or risk management, whatever you want to call them for yourself. Let them be your teachers. Let them be your guides, because you already know what it is that you like. You already know what you are looking for when you're buying and selling. Let me explain. You have been in a trade and you placed it, and whatever it is that you saw it there and you decided to trust it. And you're looking at it, your heart is pounding, you're starting to think, did I get it right? Did I get it right? Did I get it wrong? 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 Did I get it right? And the emotions start to run wild. And immediately the mind start to recreate that same fear, that same doubts, that same patterns, right? And then, oh shit, ultimately you got it wrong, ain't it?
Yeah.
That right there is the trick. In that moment when you place the trade, the mind was recreating that same scenario. Can you understand? This is kind of a mind fuck, but it's very important.
Yeah, I get it.
Yeah, because the mind will recreate. All right, let's do it like this now. I personally, I am not scared of dogs, right? Back home, I am originally from Jamaica. I had a lot of dogs on my house and on my land with my mom when I was growing up. Um, I moved to Helsinki, Finland in 2017. I came here to study at the University of Tampere Yliopisto. Anyway, fast forward, there was this one time I was walking with my wife from a shop, and I didn't notice that there was this dog behind me, big German Shepherd. And I'm not a person that's scared of dog generally, but boy, that dog attacked me. I guess it's the first time seeing someone with dreads or whatever. I don't know, but that dog was very angry towards me. And the girl that was holding the dog could barely handle her. So within that moment, I was scared. I was scared shitless. Now, whenever I walk on the road and I see someone holding a dog, I always go the other side of the road. I always start to recreate that same situation in my head. And even though I'm conscious of it and I'm conscious that I'm doing it, some of the time it even happens without me knowing it. Like I've talking on the phone and I realizing that hey, I'm already positioning myself to be away from the dog, or I'm already starting to feel fear and I'm looking at why am I feeling this fear? And then I'm already recreating that same situation in my mind. So as traders, and what most traders go through, or what serious traders go through that aren't willing to give up, those doubts and those hardships, the mind will continue to recreate them, and the mind will continue to kind of trick you to recreating those same hurtful situations for yourself unconsciously and subconsciously, just so that you can end up giving up, which ultimately is the point of this whole dialogue, to kind of let you to be aware that you are your own enemy. But this is not a negative thing, and this is not a thing that is meant for your mind to take and have you as anything bad. Because when I realized this by journaling, and I'm like, yo, I knew I shouldn't do this. What the fuck I am doing this? I've experienced this before. Why am I still doing it? It's easy to hate yourself. It's easy to be like, why am I still stuck here? Why am I still doing this? But this is the moment in which we should flip it and be like, because I'm supposed to learn from it. Can you follow?
Yeah, I get it. We spoke right before, and you told me like journaling is very important, and I took your advice. From that day, I started to journal, and you start seeing the patterns like you, until you learn. You keep repeating the same mistakes. You keep on doing the same things that you shouldn't until you start learning from them.
Exactly.
Because it
And
takes time.
yes, it does. It does. And because it takes time, you are one of the few that I'm fairly positive that if you don't give up, you will 100% recreate that moment that you had 7 years ago when you made the money. And you will learn how to recreate that moment all the time. Do you know why? Because much like how you can allow your mind to be aware of the bad patterns, and let's not call them bad, the stuff that you are to grow from, much like how you are aware of that, is the same way you will be more aware of the stuff that works and when it works and why it works and how it works. Because you're exposed to the best teaching out there. It's just you are in your own way. So ultimately, to know when to buy or sell and to know when to trust a particular tool that you are exposed to, it all comes down to you because it's there. The market's there. It will always be there. It's not going away in our lifetime. 5, 10 years from now, 20 years from now, there will always be trading. So the opportunity to make money consistently will always be there. The factor is the human behind it. And that's why trading is the hardest profession known to man, in my opinion. Because to be a successful trader, you have to dive deep into self-discovery. You have to dive deep into what makes you tick. And it's only then when you truly know yourself that you can be like, hmm, that's it. That's the thing that I saw, that's the thing that I know, and that's the thing that will work. And after a while, like I'm not suggesting that it will happen in 1 week, 2 week. It depends on your own pace and how quickly you can learn, and mostly how quickly you're willing to surrender to the process. After a while, that that I learned something new lost. I learned something new. It's not a stop loss. I learned something new from this trade. Or all right, this thing now, the risk management is like growth management. You know, choose your own words.
Mhm.
But by using these two things, you will know what to do and what not to do. And that's been my salvation, bro. That's been the reason why you even thought it fit to message me. And I chose you to reach out to first because I know that you really want this. And that's it. There isn't much, why I'm the Matrix Man and why I think I call myself the Matrix Man. Because for me personally, I feel like I have dived so deep into the rabbit hole of suffering and despair when it comes to this trading game, when it comes to understanding my own psyche, that I've come out on the other side with so much knowledge of my own personal self that I know what to do and what not to do. And when I see what I am supposed to do, I do it. And when I see what I'm not supposed to do, I am aware of it and I don't do it. And over time, you will get so comfortable. You will get so free because you know yourself. That's the whole point of it. And that's why many people fail because they don't know themselves. And to fully conquer the doubts that you have, how do you think that you can do it? Because the self doubts you mentioned is your main hurdle. So, for your own understanding, how do you think you can go forward with it and conquer it?
Well, like you said, it's all in the mind. I'm starting to realize this now, and well, like you, I well, for a bit I stopped trading just to focus on the mind, because it the mind and the thoughts, sometimes they're not your own. They're just there
Exactly.
to, like, say, some of the thoughts I have, it's like, oh my god, it's been 7 years, how come you haven't made it yet? Just stop, but then you have to persevere. And I've said to myself, no matter what now, I'm never gonna give up.
Okay.
It doesn't matter how many times I lose, or it's just keep at it, because I know from people like for you personally, I know that it can be done. So if it can be done, I can do it.
Exactly. Exactly. Let me leave you and let's touch into a few ways forward. Now,
Yeah,
I'm a firm believer of spirituality and certain concepts within spirituality. I will seek to get you exposed with one known as affirmations and one the concept of thoughts, basically. Like I'll try to break down thoughts with you just so that you can understand a little bit. And this is where we are going really deep into the rabbit hole. So I hope you can hold on for the ride and see where we're going. But think about life. Think about the trees around you. Think about the plants. Think about the cars. Think about the television. Think about trading. It's all a thought. Now, who decided that something is white and who decided that something is black? Who decided that you are Andreas? Who decided that something is GU or something is EU? I mean, who decided it? It's all a thought. So, who created these thoughts?
yeah,
Where did they come from? Who has power over them? Who has influence over them? For example, who has the power and influence to tell me to be scared of something that's going to make me sick? Who has that power? Is it me or something else or another thought? What does it mean to be scared? What does it mean to feel fear? You have to decide what that is for yourself. And you decide this by learning how to reprogram your mind. And you reprogram your mind by being actively aware of what's happening inside your mind. We have to be in a state of non-judgment. So when you had those thoughts in the past and you're like, they're not your thoughts, they're not your thoughts, but don't judge them also. Allow them to come, swirl, wave, and like a gentle ocean breeze, just pass. Because in the minute and in the moment, we get like attached to it and be like, shit, that's a nasty thought. That's an awful thing to be thinking. Why haven't I been a success? You're reinforcing it. And it's not about trying to be overly positive also. Like I did the perspective switch thing with the risk management and the stop loss, but it's not about that also. It's about being in a state of non non-duality, like neutral. Have you ever heard the story about, I think it's either two fishes or three fishes, there's so many in the water, right?
yeah,
And one day a fish saw a turtle and the turtle swam up and is like, hey, you know that there's this new thing over here called an island, and at the top there is this thing called here. And the fishes under the bottom are like, what the fuck? What is this thing called here? They've never experienced here their entire life. They have always been in water. And the turtle is like trying his best to explain it to them, like, it's this thing, it's like water, it's there, but it's not there. And the fishes are like, what? And they just can't understand it. So one fish went up and he experienced it. and it's blew his mind, and he's coming down trying to explain it to his friends, and it doesn't matter what it is, it doesn't translate to the other fishes. This is the moment that you are present. This is the moment that you are conscious. When that silence, and within that silence, you're free. So, within the silence of thoughts between thoughts, that's you. And when you hold still in that silence, those things and terminologies that you term as not so nice, that's your mind trying to give you something to think about. And likewise, those things and terminologies that you term as nice, that's your mind giving you something to think about. And within that space of non-judgment, you choose your own reality. You choose your own outcome. You choose what you're going to do and what you're going to be. And with the knowledge of self through journaling and past experiences, that's when you know what to choose and you know what to be. Let me give you an example. Let's segue closer to the end of this nice dialogue. Within my signal service, I have always mentioned to my subscribers, my clients, that I do this a particular way and I will never change. I know when I'm going to enter and when I'm going to leave it alone. And many times when I say to them that, hey, I'm going to leave it alone, right now the market will kill a lot of headless chickens because it's purposefully manipulating the human psyche and the human emotions. And I know this from being on that roller coaster rides way too many times. Way too many times for me to not learn. And when it does pan out, they're like, shit, you actually knew it. But it's not that I actually knew it. It's that I actually knew myself in exploration with it. For someone else, it could have been their dream if they are a scalper. It would have been their dream to go up and down that arrange market. Do you understand what I'm trying to say? But for me, it would have been a moment where I got hurt. So I chose not to interact with it in that moment because I'm aware of it. And it's in this space of choice that you will learn this freedom that you are already holding on to, but you're just not 100% sure that it's yours. But I'm telling you that it's yours. You just have to decide that you want it.
Yeah, I've decided that, that's for sure. And when you said about affirmations, I'm familiar. I have my affirmations. I say every day. Repeat over and over again.
Think. Loss is in the past. So loss is just a thought. It's not in the present. Can you understand that quote? Loss is in the
Yeah,
past. So loss, whenever you're thinking about these losses and these doubts that you have had, they are all in the past. You are not in loss now. It don't matter what your mind is saying. It's in the
it's in
past.
the past. Yeah,
So when you can look at it and analyze it, and this is a code. This is something that I tell myself each day, and especially if I experience a loss. I tell myself these exact things. Loss is in the past, so loss is just a thought. Loss is not in the present. Furthermore, you also have to tell yourself that you are on the right path. Money is not controlled. Nobody can control your wealth. This might be a controversial thing, being from my school of thought and where I studied, but pay attention. You are on the right path. Money is not controlled. Nobody can control your wealth. The people and the bad people out there that they all like to fear, they don't control wealth. They control poverty. And only people who are attracted to poverty, who are attracted to that mindset, are influenced by them. Let me repeat. They don't control money. Money can never be controlled. No one can stop or even think to hinder your own personal wealth. What they control is the thought form known as poverty. And only people who think and resonate within this mind frame are attracted to them. You are already breaking out, bro. You are already dipping your foot in the waters. You're just wondering, is it safe to swim? And that's something only you can decide. You want to know how I know that you are already deciding if you want to swim? Are you there? Hello?
Okay, sorry, it was cutting off. Yeah, yes, I want to know.
Because you've decided that you are not going to give up in trading, and you decided on that night 7 or 8 years ago, after you made the first win. If you can relive that moment again, you should choose to relive it every day, because in that moment, that's the moment you have decided that you're going to swim. And life has tried to bring you down. That's one story. Or life has tried to uplift you. Life has tried to teach you. Life has tried to empower you. Life has tried through all your experiences to make you an even better swimmer than what you
I
were
agree.
then, you are now. That's it, bro. You have to hold on to what you choose as your outcome and be conscious of what you are choosing as your outcome. And this main question that you ask again of how to know when to buy and sell. You already know the tools. I know you know. You just need to figure out yourself. And I know you're doing it. And I know you will have it. And much like any successful trader that's out there, we have all been through this. We have all journeyed this. You will not find one successful trader that's honest, that has not explored these doubts, that
It's
has
part of
not,
the journey.
yes. And
Definitely.
yeah. So Thanks for having you, bro. If there's anything else you'd like to ask, if there's anything else left unfinished, let me know.
No, well, I just want to say thank you for your time and for choosing me. I'm taking it as like a sign, and I appreciate your time. It's been a big
You're mo-
help.
you're most welcome, bro. You're most welcome. And always remember that you are in control. Everything that's in your life was just a thought. Was just a thought, and you chose to accept it or not. That's all it was. When you saw that computer that night, it was just a thought. What is this thing? What is this thing? And you chose in that moment, you were conscious. In that moment, you chose that you were going to explore it. And you've been choosing and choosing all this way. The end is near, and within the end is a new beginning. It's just time for further exploration. All right?
Yes.
All right.
Yes, thank you very much.
All right. So I thank you all for joining us. This has been the Oasis of the Real, a broadcast by me, the Matrix Man, to allow people, allow traders who are struggling with the most difficult issue known to trading, the psychological barriers and the mental hurdles that society has placed on us. That's the real key to unlocking your full potential. I sincerely hope that you enjoyed what you heard here. And if you do, please consider liking and subscribing and sharing this with a friend. Thank you all and good night. And thanks again, Andreas.
You're welcome. Thank you.